Welcome to this completely normal day, a normal day in all of our lives. It's Talking Silence.
I'm talking silence. They unravel the tale. Every twist, every turn, never fail. Movies, TV shows, and lifestyle. In the realm of Hannibal, we find a big out. I'm talking silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Silence. We are diving back into the world of the Hannibal TV show. I'm 1/4 of your co-hosts. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for tuning in if you are watching live. Joining me as always, first up is Jason, the old millennial. Jason, how you doing?
Doing good.
Joining me from 3D Movie Cinema, it is...
I fuck me. Goodbye, horses.
Buffalo.
All right, long legs, stop it. It's Jacob Cummings.
I actually pitched that. I was literally pitched that. I told Ryan last weekend. I said, should we literally watch? Because I've been hearing people say long legs is like Silence of the Lambs. I'm like, should we just watch it and do like that as a review? Since it's kind of, even though it's not nothing to do with Hannibal Lecter. And then Ryan's like, let me see the movie first. Then Ryan's seen it and said, no. That movie sucks. I was like, okay, never mind then.
It didn't suck, but it was, I think it's overrated. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Matt Wyatt, Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing good, but at the same time, on the inside, every time I look at this intro, I'm labeled as a regular, but I'm not in the name of the intro, and I feel
okay. We got to our intro guy.
I'm kidding. All joke aside, I'm excited to get into 4 through 6 now that we're finally back on the show.
Yeah, small hiatus for the show. Life stuff. It happens. It happens to all of us. But thank you all so much for those of you that are watching.
Is that supposed to be the T2 phone case that you have?
No, it's a Terminator 2 thing I got at a yard sale once. It's like some kind of, it's like a metal plate thing.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a phone case for a moment. Like, what the hell?
I wish that this was a phone case, dude.
That would be sick.
That would be sick, yeah. On my shelf back here, I have a copy of T2, the DVD, but it's in like it's not a steel book, but it's like a steel case with like a sharper edge than I
got the Terminator 2 skull in the Blu-ray. Like the Blu-rays are inside the skull. Like
you have like the Skynet edition with the display of the Terminator display.
Right there. Yeah, I got it after I saw the Flick Pick had it, and I'm like, I want that.
I want that so badly. They're so expensive to get that shit.
It cost me $500, and then on top of that, you want to hear the fucked up part? I bought it $500, got it in the mail, and then guess what happened? Literally, the UPS guy was Ace Ventura in that shit because apparently throwing that shit around, opening up the heads out the freaking thing. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, he was doing an Ace Ventura where he's tossing a fucking package in the truck.
HDS, sir, how are you doing today? Alrighty then. I have a package for you.
Then.
Sounds broken. Yes,
I bet it was something nice. But yeah, that's what happened. I had to get someone to hire somebody to come put it back together. And after thank God it's a Snap-on. So literally, but the lights are never the same. Like both lights don't light up like they're supposed to. Like one of the lights is dimmer than that. So the guy's like, look, you're never going to have the lights. And so that's what I'm kind of ashamed of that, because it's like, when you see the lights, you have one perfect light. And the other one looks like almost like a cross. Like the light's just like one's malfunctioning. But yeah,
you got one blinking like the Terminator's got a malfunction. The T1000 has something to do with it. Yeah. That's why you should always complain to the Amazon, like, hey, get your delivery guy to stop tossing the package and it ruins it.
I know. Don't Ace Ventura my package, okay? Don't sit there and go.
And always take a picture to confirm the purchase too.
Let's save talking Terminators and talking Venturas for another day. Let's get into Hannibal, specifically season 1, episode 4 of Hannibal, called this. Come on, phone. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. So
they're all named after dinner because
Yeah.
courses like
Yeah, I do
meals.
know that. Or just I'm good with words, but this word is I'm just not going to get it. So it's O E U F.
I can't even pronounce that knit title.
Fuck.
I know it's not weef, which is what I was going to go for.
Did you say
But
queef?
I literally thought I was literally gonna say that. Like, did you just say queef?
Yes, it's called
I'm not.
queef.
I'm not Ghostbusters.
Instead of putting the
2016.
you should put the Q in there.
Ryan's
Like,
like, I did not say
I'm not
queef.
Ghostbusters 2016. Calm down. A series of family murders. A series of family murders takes place, and Will determines that they were conducted by each of the family's missing children, who were abducted and brainwashed into killing their old families for their air quotes new family against Allah's
So it's the
advice.
plot of Sinister.
More or less, yeah. Hannibal checks Abigail out of the hospital for some frightening psychiatric practices that ultimately align her loyalty with him. So I think I would argue of all of the three main episodes we're going to be talking about, I would argue this has the most messed up imagery. I mean, it opens with a dinner table scene in which you see a bunch of rotting corpses. Like, Jason, what did
I
you
like
think?
that. I thought that was really well done. Where it's like you see
I
a bunch
said-
of rotting corpses.
Is your name Jason? Jason, what did you think?
Yeah, I really liked seeing Molly Shannon in this episode, who I knew from Saturday Night Live, and it was a comedic actress, and she played a psychopath here.
Seeing her was very weird because I primarily know her for comedy stuff,
Yeah.
and so when I saw her, I was like,
Yeah, I was like, Molly Shannon
What?
as a psychopath. Yeah, the dinner scene. That's definitely, the show is very good with imagery as far as murder scenes.
Yeah.
Very good with murder scenes. Are probably some of the best parts of the show. I would say I'm more interested in the Will Graham and Lawrence Fishburne, his character, them going after like the new serial killer, like that stuff. I find myself less interested in Hannibal Lecter and his moments with that girl, and they're continuing that storyline with her, from the first episode of her dad was a serial killer and killed her mom, and she went through all this traumatic stuff. It almost seems like, they're making her a bigger character in the show, I guess. Like maybe she'll become a serial killer. I don't know. They're kind of alluding like she's kind of maybe has some psychopathic tendencies. I don't know. I'm not as interested in that storyline personally. I don't know if it's me that I'm more into the murder mystery part of the show. So I'm kind of like, I'm not as crazy about this episode as I was the other ones personally.
Well, Jacob, what about you?
Well, one thing, Jason, if you love murder mystery, the last episode certainly is murder mystery in this the 3 episodes, because
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. And I'm like, this one, I will say, when this first came out, this never aired on cable at all, because this episode was supposed to air, but then the school shooting happened and they took it off the air
Uh-huh.
because like the subject matter of the kids killing their families, and so that's why
that the audience would get a little bit triggered if they aired that episode on television, especially during the events.
I'm like, this happens every week. Do we really have to? I mean, I don't think we're triggered by now. I'm just not nowadays. We're just like, oh, that's so sad. That's like that Loki meme where it says, "Ah, very sad." Anyway, I mean, that's literally what it is now.
Like Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear. Oh no. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally nowadays. It's sad that we live in that mind state, but like, I mean,
Yeah.
really, that's the way.
I mean, it sucks to live in that mind state, especially there's been constant school shootings. I'm like, oh my God, like we should be shocked by it, but no, it's just sad and something that it's nothing new.
I mean, used to, it's like whenever you would see like court cases, they're like, oh, this is the trial of the century. Nowadays, it's like we have court cases every day. Like, like nowadays, is it really that shocking? Like, which I do like the opening murder scene. Like, I thought that was well done, especially. And the fact that you get, like, I was wondering, because I was like, I don't remember the scene. And then I remember I'm like, isn't the plot kids killing their family? Like I could have swore that was the plot. And I do like that, I like that aspect of it. Like it goes in that direction of like a mother figure. It almost reminds me of the movie Mother and the movie movie Sinister. It reminds me of those two movies. If you've seen Mother, you know how it's like if you ever seen Mother, you know the plot is two kids, like their dad goes into woods to kill them, and then the ghost kills the dad, and then the ghost raises them, and then of course the brother adopts them.
Don't you mean Mama?
Mama, yeah.
Yeah, it's Mama.
Mother is a terrible Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Mother is a Jennifer Lawrence movie that I never
terrible
saw.
Jennifer Lawrence movie. My bad. He says Mama. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not just Mother. It's called Mother. It's exclamation point.
Yeah. Please don't mention that piece of shit movie ever again.
You brought up that name. You brought up that title. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie in theaters, and I was like, this is what happens when someone has a bad experience at church camp.
I mean, I've never saw that movie in theaters.
It's like an effed up improv
I heard the bad
really
reception, and I saw the honest trailer and how that was going to look in context. Like, oh my god, it's really bad. Thank God it dodged that bullet.
The trailers made it look like it's Rosemary's Baby or something.
It did.
And the poster was mimicked after Rosemary's Baby. So you go and watch them, like, oh, they're Satanists and they're going to impregnate Jennifer Lawrence, the devil's baby. Nope, it is completely 100% opposite of that. It's literally the most stupidest thing ever, especially when she has a baby, and then they start stepping on it. Like, what the fuck is this movie?
You might as well have renamed the movie A Reading from the Holy Gospel According to Darren.
Or it might have been called just WTF, the movie.
But back to Hannibal, though. Back to Hannibal, though. The sinister connections are definitely there. It hit me at the ending where the little boy goes back home ostensibly to like kill his family, and then like Jack Crawford has to like break it to him that he's probably going to go to prison, or like kids prison mark. I don't know.
Or probably more of like a juvenile detention center, and then until he turns 18, he goes to prison.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I felt bad. Like, he didn't kill. You can literally say, "Hey, these people are going to kill me." They told me, and look, I did not try to come. Kill
Well, they didn't
you.
really force him to do that. He just got brainwashed by this psychotic woman who was luring in children to be part of this whole family. But the only way to do that, you have to get rid of the fake family that she just like planted in their heads.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make more sense if it was him doing it solely instead? Like when the SWAT team watches in, there's like a teenage boy that the SWAT shoots, and then the little boy runs away. Like, like there's like two other boys there. Like, I'm saying, like, it would have made more sense if the little boy had his parents at gunpoint doing it themselves, and instead, and then the woman, where did she go? Molly Shannon. They're like, she literally just like she was not even around. Like, and Will, when he recaptures the murder, he's like, she was there. So should she be standing there? Like, instead, she's out hiding in the freaking pool.
She's hiding around the corner, and she didn't really thought this through, and then things escalated very quickly. I was like, yep, she's gone. Boom.
You got it. Yeah.
I mean, to me, I felt like even though I enjoy the murder mystery of the week, I feel like that the main antagonist was kind of a waste and kind of an afterthought. That like, why should I care about her purpose? I mean, it's just an any other day at the office.
At least you got to see her not do like a comedy bit.
I mean, it was a fun murder mystery, but I kind of enjoyed the whole Abigail storyline with him and her and Hannibal Lecter, planting in her head and basically keeping her against her will, and planting in her head to being a serial killer, becoming Hannibal. If that makes any sense, I mean, I don't know, but the dinner scene was very creepy too. When she was like sedated and drugged, and she sees the flashes of her old family that got murdered. That was fucking trippy.
Yeah.
It was.
I also like how Hannibal beats Jack a dude and saying it was a rabbit, where he says, "It was a rabbit," and he goes, "It kind of needs to like a
yeah." That was the victim he killed, and he cooked it up and fed it to Jack. Jack is eating the fucking victim.
If the movie Red Dragon has showed us anything, it's that is not the first nor the last time Dr. Hannibal Lecter would do something like that.
Yeah. Also, how did they find the Christmas murder? Because they said it was on a 13. The fingerprints was a 13-year-old boy. Like the fingerprints was a 13-year-old boy that killed his. At that house, they found a 13-year-old boy. So were they saying it was the 13-year-old boy's fingerprints from this family, Or are they saying it was just the 13-year-old boy from the first murders?
I think it was the 13-year-old boy from the first murder. I think that would make a lot more sense.
Because the SWAT team just randomly finds that house. Like, they go in there and it's like a Christmas massacre, which Ryan told me, he goes, that is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen Christmas related.
Oh my god,
No.
he killed the whole
I
family.
said-
Burn the young girl alive. That was a burnt corpse.
Oh, man.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, what a psychotic motherfucker, dude.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that, it makes sense why this did not air. I mean, like it's not even like a thing.
It was
where
too much.
you're
It was
like-
just too much when they didn't want to air this on a network show. This was on NBC.
especially on
This is something that you could have.
NBC
This is
Net.
something you could have done on a premium channel like HBO or something.
HBO, sure, when like you have to like actually pay to like access that catalog and those shows. This is on NBC. If you have basic, you can get the show. And
You can
so
watch it for
here's the-
free. It's a basic network show.
That's literally like the basic channels. Like, literally, like, you don't even have to really pay for it. It's like ABC, Fox, NBC, PBS. You know, it's like, I'm just saying, like, really, you could watch this, and I'm like watching this, going, this is horrific. You know, because it's like, you know, like on top of this, like also, you know, this on top of this, it's like this woman's brainwashing these children, going like to kill, and then they kill one of the kids at the Christmas family. They kill that kid
Yep.
because he refused to kill his family. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, she was psycho.
Yeah, she is a
dark,
psycho.
dark.
I couldn't believe they got an SNL actress to play a serial killer. I never thought I was going to
Because
take her
Ryan Fuller worked
seriously.
with her before on Pushing Daisies. That's why she's like, you know, like, he tries to bring a lot of people that he worked with before into doing. Like, she worked with him on Pushing Daisies, and that's why he wanted. She said she finally gets to play a character that's not nice, or like
Mhm.
he's not goofy. You know, she wants. To
And also,
play-
yeah, I feel bad for the kid who didn't go through with it, and now he's going to have to pay the price. It sucks
Oh,
for
they
him.
were gonna kill him probably if he wouldn't have done it. They would have killed him.
Oh, yeah, they would have.
It's like a no win lose for him, because it's like either they were gonna kill me or now I go to prison, or I go to prison. So it's like,
I mean, if 1 Hour Photo proved anything, it's that comedians have a dark side. They just don't show it off too often.
Jim Carrey, look at him, number 23.
They masculate their
Oh, God.
emotions through their sense of humor and full of jokes.
Cable. What? You say Cable Guy? What,
Yeah,
what
that movie is,
movie is
that movie is
dark?
dark as hell.
I mean, there's literally a dream sequence where he goes, "I just want to hang out, no big deal." I'm just like, I don't understand what you thought was like dark about that. You're like, this is it Matthew Broderick's shitty acting? That's what makes it so dark.
Well, let's.
like,
we
no,
will,
no.
I mean, having just seen the Inspector Gadget movie fairly recently, I'm inclined to agree, but that's a conversation for a whole another time. One of the big things Hannibal Lecter wise in this episode was that Hannibal is essentially house sitting for Will and kind of like sees his house and like how like Will Graham's like house looks, and so it's just like planting those seeds for like Hannibal Lecter basically entering Will Graham's mind and staying a while almost.
He's also, yeah, he's toying with his emotions in his mind.
Did you see? Like, I liked how like he brought sausage in and the dog, and then everywhere he went, the dog would just follow him. And I'm just sure that they were. I'm just
They are the
laughing.
worst guard dogs ever. Like, goddamn, the dogs would not just let it's just some unknown stranger inside the fucking house and have access to it. They would bark and go nuts.
I mean, also he's feeding them. Like, honestly, he has sausage. I was like, he feeds them sausage, and yet they're all like, at least one dog is following him still around. And I'm just laughing because every time he goes somewhere, I'm sure they didn't want the dogs to follow, but this one dog follows him everywhere. And I'm just sitting there watching, going, I'm sure Matt Mickelson's like trying his hardest not to pet this dog. And then they like, do not pet the dog. Hannibal's supposed to be focused on this. He's like, but it's so cute. I just want to pet him. And like the trainers are probably like we can't call the dog because the scene looks too real. But I like how you
trying to be menacingly stoic, Fido. Like, you're ruining my mojo here.
like dog. I would be really thought that would be really cute if Matt Mickelson was just doing this like Dr. Evil style, where he was sitting there looking at and then doing this. Like, it'd probably be less scary, but it'd be like I thought it'd be interesting. But yeah, I do like how he fixed. He's so evil that he fixes Will's fishing line for him. He's like
The monster.
he's like, I'm gonna fix this for him so he can go fishing. Watch this. So evil. And I'm going to make sure it's sharp for him, too. Oh, I cut my finger.
Is it this episode or the next episode we get into kind of what's going on with Lawrence Fishburne's character and his wife?
Oh yeah, we
That's
do.
the
We do
next
dive in a
episode.
little bit in the next episode. The ending of the episode just was planting the scene of what's going to happen in the
Yes.
next episode with Jack and his wife. Why she's being so resentful and why she's saying that, oh, it's too late for me to have a child.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's for Lawrence Fishburne's that was his real wife in real life.
Oh, and
Yeah,
the
they were
actress,
together.
the actress who was also in Serenity and Firefly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
She's also in The Matrix Reloaded.
okay.
Yep.
In like a small
I
role.
remember.
Okay.
Which, by the way, she's also an angel.
Okay.
You know,
Mm.
in Suits. Which, I will say though, the one thing I had issue with, like, she takes them all out. Like, she abducts these children. She takes them all for milkshakes, okay? And I'm thinking, in what universe are you going to take children out to milkshake when they're on a milk carton somewhere? And I'd imagine, like, hey,
Like they're on a missing
What?
poster, or they're on online.
that's
They
a
put on
very
an Amber
ballsy thing
Alert.
to do. Just
All right, I
like,
got one vanilla coming up. Hey, wait a minute.
What the fuck? I mean, it should
I
be
mean,
on the news. Isn't it on the news that they're on TV, that missing children?
Right. Yeah, they're out in public.
especially in that state. Like, she's going in that state doing this, and then she's like, I'm going to wait a year. And I'm like, they still are going to be on a missing. They're not going to take it. Well, they're probably dead. So, Jonathan, take this down. Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, at my local Walmart, there's a big old like board of like, have you seen this child like missing posters? Some of them have been up for well over a year. So
Well, that's
so
depressing.
like waiting a year does not help.
You know what though? Yeah, you know what? I will say that. I mean, like, they don't really do. By the way, they don't really do the missing milk carton anymore, because I'm sure somebody, when you're you're drinking your cereal, feeling good, you don't want to look at the back of the milk carton and go, man, I feel like shit.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
I don't
I
think
mean,
so.
No.
it'd be like if you're it'd be like watching Pornhub, and all of a sudden the missing person poster comes up, and you're like, oh god, oh, have you seen this child? You're like,
Allergy.
yeah. Now I feel like shit. I can't finish.
But on
Honestly,
that
that'd be the
pleasant,
best market.
on that pleasant note, let's go to ratings.
Jesus.
Jason, 1 to 10, what do you have?
I say I'd give this a 7.
All right, Jacob, what about you?
You know what? I agree with Jason, a 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a
7,
little
okay.
bit. Oh, sorry if I'm cutting you off.
No. I was just about to pass it to you. So what do you got?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher than 8. I enjoyed this episode a lot more, even though it's not its best, but it still serves the purpose of the story with Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter and Jack and the others.
I will go with the majority, and I will go with 7. This was very enjoyable. It gets a little bit extra for me because of the opening. Just, ooh, wow. And then just everything. You know what? 7.5. I'll bump it up extra for the extra, like,
Yeah.
wowness of the opening and the Christmas scene. But let us move on now to season 1, episode 5, called, let's give this a shot, Cookieless. It's this, Cookieless.
Coco Cause?
Cocoa Krispies. A murdered couple is found. I am the walrus. A murdered couple is found in a motel room, posed in praying positions with the flesh of their backs opened and strung to the ceiling to give them the appearance of wings. Using hairs collected from the motel pillow, the BAU team discovers several medications used to treat brain tumors in the killer's bloodstream. Graham surmises that the killer is transforming his victims into guardian angels to watch over him because he is afraid of dying in his sleep. So this killer is definitely taking the part of the bedtime prayer of if I should die before I wake a little too seriously.
Especially a man who has a tumor in his head. It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor.
It's not.
I just laughed.
Not-
Like, this guy literally, This guy's going around killing people based off of literally shitty CGI effects on their faces.
I don't think they would have done it practical. It would have been way too much for the audience to handle that kind of thing. If they actually did it practical with their face on fire.
You know what my real issue with this is? He kills them in public, by the way. Like, how the hell are you gonna do that in public? You're just gonna go like rooms. I couldn't see the hotel, but the guy, literally the guy, I'm like, there's no way you could have done that without somebody seeing that. I'm sorry, but like,
unless it was in broad daylight, it could have been at nighttime when no one's around. That would make a lot.
Like, it makes no sense. He would have to have help doing that. There's
how
no
did
way.
he? Yeah, but also that I do agree with you. That bothered me. Like, how did he was able to do all that work by himself?
Yeah, I don't get
clearly.
Like,
Brian Fuller.
It feels like it could have been like a two-man's job.
Yeah.
Brian Fuller was paying homage to the Silence of the Lambs, where Hannibal Lecter was stringing up the guy like on the cell. Like,
the way that he strung up to that Wayne's, like, god damn, that was so graphic. Like, whoa, damn.
I mean, seriously though, I thought that was the only thing I felt like the kills. I'm like, there's no way, especially when he does it to himself at the end. I'm like, what the hell?
How does he
like,
do that?
how are you doing this by yourself? There's no way. I mean, I was waiting for for someone else to be like, they're helping him, because there's no way.
There's no way he could have done that on his own. And also, he's constantly hallucinating to seeing everybody's face on fire, which he's literally seeing the demons in them, and he's literally picking up the worst people by killing them and turning in the Waynes. Yeah. We find out later that it wasn't angel Waynes; it was demons. He thinks he's killing demons.
One thing that I will say is that Brian Fuller clearly was watching Ghost Rider before shooting this.
It was on a shitty TV budget with Nick Cage.
But Ryan, aren't they killing people with epileptic? Didn't they say like the people he's targeting are epileptic or something, or bulimic or something like that?
Something to that effect. Yeah, they had like.
Which I'm sure that's.
I could have sworn that he was killing people who are the worst, like people that he's going after.
I always thought he was killing the epileptic people.
Maybe I could be wrong. I probably have to look back on the episode because I literally just watched this today.
Well, yeah, didn't they commit crimes or something?
Yeah, they committed crimes. I thought that's what they brought up in that episode.
But how would he know that?
Yeah, that's one question that really bothered me. How the hell did he know that?
Yeah, I don't get
why. He's like, he has psychic abilities now. He's like,
I mean, what the fuck are you? Are you Bill Paxton for frailty? What do you think, you're killing demons or some shit? And then you just see them and you know that they're the worst. This reminded me of this.
I love that reference. It's just like that's a deep cut, Matt. That is a deep cut. I never expected someone to drop that.
When I watched the episode, that reminded me of that. It's like how the hell do you know that they're the worst people? They're criminals and they're killers. Like you're seeing flames because he's seeing demons and he thinks he's killing demons. That reminded me of Frailty with Bill.
This whole episode is basically Ghost Rider too, as well. It's like Brian Fuller watched Ghost Rider and goes, "I could do this, but a more fucked up version of that."
But really messed up, yeah.
I was like, I'm watching this going like, this episode is kind of dumb, but it's like at the same time,
I feel like they use that as like the plot moving the logic plot forward when Jack put 2 and 2 together about his wife's diagnosis of stage 4 cancer. Yeah. That's what it really was. They had to tie that in.
Yeah,
and how he
puts
2 and 2 together when he was talking to the murderer's wife.
I was going to say the A plot is just kind of there, but I was way more interested in Jack Crawford and his wife. My favorite scene in the episode is legit when Bella is there with Dr. Lecter and she is like, I'm shrinking and I'm getting smaller while this thing is getting bigger. And I'm like, geez, that just sucks. Like I feel sorry for her, like really.
Yeah. And when him and with her and Jack shared scene together, having to talk about her diagnosis and her not wanting to go through the chemotherapy, and he's like, you know what, I'm in it with you all the way. I love that. That really brought an emotional performance. And by the time you get to the end of the episode, he's just sitting there, silence, not saying anything, while Will is showing him emotional support. Yeah. Like, I don't have to say anything, but I will sit here until you do say something. Because he knows about the news. And that scene was incredible. I love that. Because at first, Will was constantly sleepwalking. Are we not going to talk about that? How many times he's been sleepwalking? And every time he's going on a murder case with Jack, with the FBI, his mind has been all fucked in the head, and he doesn't know if he can continue to keep working with the FBI.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, also,
Especially
I
in his condition. Oh no, he's not in the right mind.
No.
I also
And I think
like
that Hannibal was really messing with his head too.
I also like that, like there's a line if you've seen Red Dragon, or read the book Red Dragon. There's a line where like when he first meets Hannibal after years have gone by, and he first meets Hannibal for the first time in years, and he's in a prison. So he says, "That's the same trash as aftershave you wore in court." And he goes, "I keep getting it for Christmas every year." They literally say a subversion of that line in this episode where he's like, every time about the aftershave, he keeps like, "Keep getting it for Christmas every year." And I'm like, "Hey, I just saw this." I was like, "Hey, I was like, that's a Red Dragon line drop."
When Hannibal was smelling Will, he's like, "Did you just smell me?"
Yeah. Aftershave. He goes,
that kind of reminded me in Wild Hogs. Remember that scene with fucking William H. Macy when he's on his back of the motorcycle with John Travolta and he snipped his neck?
Yeah.
I felt you smelling my neck. Did you smell that man's neck? I know this was not intended to be funny, but it just reminded me, and I just couldn't take it seriously.
First a frailty reference, and now a Wild Hogs reference.
Hey, I will take a Wild Hogs reference any day of the week. That movie never gets. I like that movie. That movie doesn't get enough love. I mean,
I know
Wild Hogs.
Critics
So
shit on
fun.
that movie. They were crapping
so
on that
fun.
movie.
Like seriously, that movie is so funny, especially whenever John C. McGinty's that gay cop who is like literally goes. He says, Martin Lawrence, like, someone want to tell me why I'm sleeping outside the bed when I did 3 hours of blowing last night? And they go,
I had 3 hours of my jaw soaring for 3 hours of blowing.
He's like, please, for the love of God, finish your sentence.
and then they're in the pool, and he's there.
Daddy,
and
he's like,
they're all in the lake. They're out in that pond, wherever the hell that river, like waterfall pond, wherever the hell it was called. Oh my God.
It's like chicken fight, fellas. He's like, Marco. And then one like, hello.
Marco. And then they all just quietly leave.
They dipped out.
I mean, especially like the middle part where they go to the bar and everybody's like being assholes. Then John Travolta goes and gets all the bikes.
That's the brake lines to their bikes and the bar.
He said, those guys got balls. He goes, I'm gonna chew them up and put them in my mouth and chew them off. He goes, you're gonna put what in your mouth?
You're gonna put what in your mouth?
By the way, that guy is literally the guy who says that is literally the villain in the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he played Blob in X-Men Origins, and he was in Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. He's been in a lot of crazy roles.
I like him.
He's been around a while. Yes.
He was also on a TV show that's so underrated that I love. It's called The Strain. He was so good in that show.
Oh,
I guess I'm the only person that's seen that show.
I know what it is. I've never seen it. I've always wanted.
You've never seen it? It's a good show. Guillermo del Toro made it. It's based on a comic book.
Oh yeah, The Strain. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Now I remember. Yeah. The Strain. I've only seen a few episodes of that first season. I fell off of that show.
You gotta watch.
I've been wanting to get back on, but I just wasn't really feeling it at first when it came on TV on FX. I wasn't really
either until
I kind of tapped out.
I'll watch the first season.
Kevin Grant or something like that.
It's like about a vampire virus that spreads through New York City. Like like the first episode's about a quarantine plane, and then the virus spreads, and it's really dark. It is. Blade 2, the vampires in Blade 2. He kind of made it. It took the idea from Blade 2 that he did, and then made a whole series about it.
Yeah, when you watch that show, you know that's Guillermo del Toro's fingerprints all over him. If you watched his movies like Blade 2 or Hellboy, whatever, you know that's really him doing the show.
I will say, though, he doesn't have any involvement after season 2. And so Carlton Kurtz, who is one of the showrunners of Lost, takes over, and it becomes more his show. And that's when he changes the opening credits, and he kind of makes it more different. Like, it becomes more about science, and but in a good way. Like, it's basically the end of the comic book, and it's so dark. I like it. I thought it was. I love the show.
I will try to get back on that show because I just wasn't really feeling it when it came on TV, and I tapped out.
Yeah, I won't understand. Yeah, but you have to. I would say, well, guess what? After Talking Silence, Talking Strain, everyone. Woo!
All the more reason to go back to that show.
Talking Strain.
I mean, even though with Hannibal, like I know I brought this up before. Because I love the show Hannibal, but I didn't really watch the rest of the series. But doing Talking Silence really got me a reason to keep watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of says how good this episode is when we're talking about the strain instead. But
I mean, that is a much better
I'm-
show. At least that whole show ended, and rather than like Hannibal, which got canceled after season 3. But that's not to show. I'm just having a laugh. Hannibal season 3 is so good, and it ends on a beautiful note. I'm just saying.
So it does not leave on a cliffhanger or any unanswered questions. It just ends the show.
I mean, it kind of leaves some stuff open for like if they ever decide to do another one.
Oh
but
yeah,
they don't. But it doesn't like sit there and like it isn't like when I can't explain without spoiling, but I'm just saying
you don't have to spoil it.
It does leave it on something where they could potentially go. But if you did not want to, like, if you just said, okay, this is the end of the series, it would perfectly be an ending.
Okay, gotcha. It won't leave you frustrated, but like, oh my god, why did they cancel this on us? We want to know more.
Yeah, it's not like how like the season 1 finale would have ended. It would have been such a depressing, like, come on. Or if the season 2 finale would have been like, what? No, but like season 3 literally ends like because they kind of knew they were getting canceled midway through showing, so they kind of were figuring like, okay, we're just gonna.
Which I wish more shows do that, because you can't guarantee that the show is going to keep continuing on and on, because the cost gets higher, the budget gets higher, and it's more expensive to keep the series cast members on the show, and you have to come up with a backup plan in case it gets canceled. At least end the show and just.
What was it? Superman and Lois said they knew that they were getting canceled, so that's when they were final season. They said,
because it got canceled before they even started writing the script for season 4, and luckily they came prepared, and actually they can give a 10-episode final end.
Yeah, I know, which is weird. We're talking about Superman on Hannibal. I'm just saying
I know we're flipping the script like crazy. We're talking about we talk about Hannibal, and we're talking about the strain.
I'm sure we have more things to talk about in this episode besides. I will say. Yeah, I will say I do think that like his wife and going to his wife and the guy's wife and saying like she divorced him, which the wife's a piece of shit because he had cancer, so she divorced him, and I'm like, well, that's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah, that was pretty shitty for her to do, to divorce someone when he was diagnosed of brain tumor. Like, what the hell?
I just thought that was terrible. And I do like that Will at the end is like he wants Will, like he said, to set Will free, and then Will doesn't. And I thought that was pretty,
Well, yeah, but also at first I thought it was real. Like, did he just strung himself down to that damn thing? But no, that was just in his head, because he still believes that there's something wrong with him in his head, that he might be turning into a sociopath killer.
That's the idea.
What he becomes.
That's the idea. Is praying kind of does the Will on the verge of snapping or not? I like that idea.
Yeah, I love that part. I love the part that they're like you said, that he's on the verge of snapping at some point.
I will say, wrapping this episode, I will say, I did like at the end how Will and Jack sit in the room together, like how Will sits with Jack, because Jack's like all depressed about his wife, and Will sits there with him. Like, I feel like it's two people that are kind of like Jack. Jack wasn't broken, but Will is always broken, so it's kind of like nice to have somebody share the brokenness together. Yeah. And I do like that Hannibal kind of like took Abigail under his wing and they like checked her out, and then she goes. And he says, "Can I stay at your place?" And he goes, "You will sleep in your own bed." And I'm just like, was she trying to hit on him or something? I didn't pick that up.
I mean, you never know. She could.
Like, she's
possibly. I think she's there. I think she's at a point where now she's lost her goddamn mind, and I think Hannibal is doing a very hell of a job of messing with her mind and in her sanity too.
I think Lawrence Fishburne, some of his best acting. Oh
my god, yeah.
Like him in this show. He's maybe the best actor in the show, in my opinion.
He had a movie out too, like Man of Steel. He was literally in Man of Steel, and he had the show on at the same time. And I'm like,
you can
go watch him on TV and then watch him in the theater. I'm like, that's
but he had a great one. But also, you were putting a movie actor on a television show on network, and he's absolutely brilliant.
Morpheus.
He steals.
Wow.
He steals like every scene in John Wick. I mean, he steals any scene he's in for me.
I mean, Lawrence Fishburne is so good, and I honestly, it's still an abomination that they put
even Boys in the Hood. He steals the spotlight
in Matrix Resurrection.
Yeah,
it's an abomination they didn't put him in Matrix Resurrection.
He did not want to go in that movie.
Gentrification. Yeah.
But
we got one more episode to talk about, so let's go to ratings. Jason, what do you got?
Yeah, same. I'm giving it another 7.
Generous of you, Jason.
It's the most, to me, it's maybe the most disturbing murders that I've seen. Those murder scenes.
be funny if all these murders were happening in this guy's head and he was just dying of cancer. Like he was just dying of the tumor and he was just imagining he committed all these murders. He's like, it's all in my head, and then dies.
I also no, sorry I'm cutting you off, but that one scene that he did to himself that strung him up with the wings, how the fuck did he do it by himself?
I don't get how he.
How does that make any sense? Are we not going to talk about that?
It would make sense if Hannibal helped
figure out at the start of this discussion.
If they would have revealed that he was the one helping them, that would make a lot more sense. I mean, who knows? They might reveal it in a later season. They could bring that back.
I could have swore it was Hannibal that helped him.
That would make a lot more sense. I mean, I don't know. They could reveal it because I haven't got really that far in season 1. I don't remember it much, but I feel like he's probably pulling all the strings.
I mean, I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, but I think Hannibal is the one that strung him up.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
And at the end, he'll be like, I am the one, Will. I am the author of all of your pain.
Okay, I was like, okay, Oppen. Okay, Blufffield.
Jacob, what's your score?
I would give this a 5 out of 10.
All right, Matt?
I don't think this is a bad episode. I think that the subplot of the murder mystery of him killing all the horrible people and strung them up and all that stuff. I mean, that was just more of a plot device to further the plot with Jack and his wife about him finding out about her diagnosis. And also the strength of the episode was definitely the best performance with Lawrence Fishburne on the television show. And plus, I like the part when we're exploring Will Graham's insanity and questioning his own insanity. So I'm probably going to give it a little upper score and give it like a solid 7, even though it's not really the best episode that they have out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
That score was so out there that Colin.
I know I'm being generous, guys. I'm pretty sure that Ryan's going to get a lower score.
This episode was effectively, it was disturbing in parts. There was parts of it that are just like, yo, what are we doing here? But I'm going to go 6. I thought there was enough disturbing moments. So I'm like, okay, I think this is fine. But
I mean, without the things that I mentioned about the pros, I think I would have gone a lower if it didn't add anything into the story.
Yeah. But let's move on to our final episode we're talking about. It is season 1, episode 6, called Entree. Yay, one I can finally pronounce. A nurse at the Baltimore State Hospital for the Criminally Insane is brutally murdered by a patient, Dr. Abel Gideon, in a manner reminiscent of the Chesapeake Ripper, who hasn't committed a murder in 2 years, the same number of years Gideon has been incarcerated. While Graham tries to discover whether Gideon truly is the Ripper, Crawford receives a phone call, apparently from the real Ripper, who plays the recorded voice of Miriam Lass, a trainee Crawford had consulting on the Chesapeake Ripper case 2 years previously when she suddenly disappeared, aka was murdered by Dr. Lecter. But, Jason, what did you think?
This episode was awesome. This was my favorite episode.
I knew it. I was like, you said murder mystery. I'm like, oh, he's gonna love this episode.
This was a great episode. There's great mystery there. There's some good flashback scenes where we learn more about kind of Jack's past, I guess. 2 really good guest starring roles here. Eddie Izzard, stand-up comedian from England, playing a kind of psychopath, doing kind of a Hannibal Lecter impression almost, I felt like. I thought he was really good. And then Anna Klumsky playing the, what's her name? The
wannabe Clarice.
The FBI girl from the past that Jack's dealing with. So that was cool seeing those 2 in here, especially Eddie Izzard. I thought he was so good. His scenes. That scene where the 2, where Will Graham and the female psychologist have to question him and how they edited that together, that was really great. I love how they did that. And the ending was shocking and surprising. I mean, it was a perfect episode for me.
Jacob, what about you?
I enjoyed like that the world building that it's doing. Like, for instance, we introduced Dr. Chilton and we introduced like the asylum. And you're like, that's Dr. Chilton. And I love how he had dinner with Dr. Chilton.
I know.
Like, oh, they're gonna be enemies down the line, huh? Because like I was like, oh, because if you know, we know the history because we've seen the movies and read the books, we know they're gonna be enemies down the line. But it's like seeing them like he has no idea, and like Dr. Chilton's like, oh, I think Abel Gideon is the Chesapeake Ripper, and Hannibal Lecter is just like because he's like, oh, you're so wrong in a way. Like I'm just like, oh, Hannibal knows he saw, and I like how like you have Jock Crawford kind of training, helping this trainee out, kind of like it's almost parallel to what he does with Clarice, in a way. And I thought that was really well done. And you kind of feel like, oh, is this Clarice? Is this? There's no way this is Clarice. Or like, I know I bet you when Jason was watching, he's like, is that Clarice?
Right,
Is this like, are they trying to remix this and put Will after Clarice? And like, but then you're like, oh no, she ain't Clarice. By the end of the episode, when you see Hannibal kills her, you're just like, oh, she ain't Clarice, because it's like, and I do like how they pay homage to Hannibal, to the Red Dragon movie, because that's not in the book. That scene with Hannibal attacking Will Graham, although they reference like Hannibal did attack Will Graham, but like in the movie you get to see that scene, and so it's kind of like homage to that, where she sees the pictures
exactly like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hannibal there. You see Hannibal put her in the headlock and goes,
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
like you finally get to see his evil side of him, like that real evil side that it's like, it's like,
because Matt Mickelson really captures the dignification or the dignified nature of Hannibal Lecter in most scenes, and so when something like this happened, I'm like, oh, okay, that's the part of him that you never thought he existed, in the words of Katie.
Yeah,
Perry.
but the mental patient, he was literally a copycat of Hannibal Lecter, doing all the strings and usually throwing him under the bus until the reveal at the end of the episode. That was Hannibal doing all the killings. He was the Ripper.
Is he the Chesapeake, whatever?
I think, yeah, I believe so.
No, he's not the Chesapeake Ripper. Like, literally, literally 5 movies, or like, we just had 5 movies. Yes, Hannibal Lecter's the Chesapeake Ripper, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it almost feel like they're trying to do a lot of like homage to Sounds of the Lamb and then Red Dragon, and almost feel like they're doing. It feels like it literally feels like a shot for a shot. It did feel like a shot for a shot to me.
This whole, like Brian Fuller said, the first the first 2 seasons are basically Hannibal, like it's like the rise of the Chesapeake Ripper in a way, or not the rise of the Chesapeake, but like they're looking for the Chesapeake Ripper, and then season 3 is Red Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like the first half of season 3 is a remix of the movie Hannibal, or the book Hannibal, is a remix of the book Hannibal, and then the rest of it's Red Dragon.
Okay.
So it's like, this is literally like this is like a prequel. Like the first 2 seasons are like a prequel to Red Dragon, in a way where like it's Will teaming up with Hannibal to catch serial killers, but also he's trying to find the Chesapeake Ripper.
Right.
Which, even though Hannibal Lecter's like, it's me. Which, do you
also,
know that
he doesn't come off with so obvious when it comes to being a serial killer. He's so calm and very manipulative.
By the way, David Tennant was the second choice for Hannibal Lecter in this show.
The guy who was a copycat.
David Tennant was the second choice to play Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, second choice.
I'm glad it was Mickelson. Don't get me wrong, but Tennant would have been great. Like if you haven't seen,
he did strike me as a little bit more of the Anthony Hopkins or Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, he would have played it more Anthony Hopkins. That's the only reason I'm glad Mickelson, because Mickelson plays it more like the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah, that's what
I like. I love the scene. I love the scene, and it is escaping me. Oh, don't go away. It's gone.
I like the scene where he's talking about, they're having dinner. He says, I don't know nothing about you. And he tells about he gives his backstory. He said, my family was murdered when I was young. And he goes, I go to live with my uncle. When
he was talking to Will Graham. Yeah. And that scene when they had a session together. Yeah. That was a great scene.
And you just like, oh, I know what happens. It's just like, have you
we know what happens in Hannibal Rising. We saw that movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we know about his shitty backstory.
There. It pays.
They took a little bit of the backstory of.
It pays to watch crappy movies sometimes.
His parents were murdered after the war, and he was raised by his uncle, and we know the context of where that went.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, it's so. I think honestly, I do like that Hannibal Lecter. He's so nice to that trainee. He's so nice, like he says, not an FBI, not a trainee, an agent. you know, and he's so polite to her and everything. And then all of a sudden, when she sees those pictures, you hear him take his shoes off. He drops down. He's like, and you see like Jaws. He's like, what? And he goes,
He's coming down and like very silent. Like, oh my god, like what the hell is he doing? It felt like it was a demon crawling in a horror movie.
Yeah.
I remember the scene. It took me a second, but I remember the scene. It's when they're in the motel and they find the hair on the pillow. Like Jack Crawford turned into Elliot Ness from the Untouchables for a second there. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want him in a box in the ground. I want to burn his house to the ground so I can piss in the ashes.
But also the phone call you got from his trainee, and now that it feels like Hannibal is literally gaslighting Jack, messing with his head. Like,
I mean,
what the
he's
hell?
gaslighting everybody.
Where did that voice come from? Like, was it just a recording and that he recorded her voice to mess with Jack?
All will be revealed. All will be revealed next season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that, okay.
All will be revealed next season. I won't spoil, but
So I'm gonna guess. I have not seen season 2, so I'm not spoiling anything. But from what he brought up, I don't think she's dead. I think that he puts her in the sleeper hold, kept her as a prisoner. That's my guess. I don't know. I have not seen season 2. So from what you said, Jake, you gave me the idea that I don't think she's dead.
You will find out.
I think that's what they want us to believe. That he choked her to death. No, I think he put her in a sleeper hold.
Why would Hannibal like to keep her alive, though?
I don't know. I'm just simply saying that I think that that's going to be the major plot twist in the season 2.
You'll find out about everything that will all be revealed in season 2.
Okay.
But I will say, I'm not going to tell you. Because I can
either confirm or deny without the secretary's approval.
Yeah, well, not.
Yeah, every time there's a spoiler that I can't give away, or we can't give away, like when we're doing small talk, we just say the line from Mission Impossible 5 where he says, I can neither confirm nor
deny the existence of this without the secretary's approval.
I know I may sound like I've seen season 2, but I swear to God I did not. So I'm just speculating, pulling shit out of my ass. So I could be wrong.
You could be wrong or right. I'm not going to tell you. You got a comment.
Hey, at least I'm willing to speculate for someone who has not seen the rest of the show.
Who is YV?
I love when they're trying. When he gets a call, and he's like, "I got this call,"
I think it's a call.
And they're like, "Well, there was no." I forget. He's going to the what do you call them? The scientist people, whatever, and
forensics.
And they're like, "No, there was no call or something." And he's like, "I know I got a call." And there's this one guy that keeps questioning him. And he always gives him this look like, I'm about to beat your ass if you keep,
Dude, I think that fucker's in on it somehow. I think he's in on something. I think he's in with one of the forensic guys. I guarantee that he must be working with Hannibal or something. Because I spot some very fishy about that guy in the previous episode.
Well, one guy kept getting on his nerves, kept questioning whether he really.
It looks like it kind of feels like he's gaslighting Jack.
Maybe. And Jack's like, you need to stop. I'm like, I'm about to beat you up.
It's like, dude, I'm about to punch you, bro.
I'm about to punch you if you keep going on.
One thing that I did want to bring up before we wrap things up is Freddie Lowndes being Freddie Lowndes again.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You got a comment, Ryan. Just read it. Just read them. It's always the forensic guys.
It's always the forensic guys.
Well, to be fair, I'm about to throw this Harley Quinn the thing down the drain. The forensic guys are actually characters. The forensic guys are just comedic reliefs of the show because Ryan Fuller is good friends with them, and I guess they did Pushing Daisies together or something. And so they bring someone. They're characters from the book, but they're smaller characters, and they have more of a larger role because they're the core runners or whatever, the forensics. And so then they're really just the comedic. They're not really villains in the show. They're just that's what
that I was about to say that's what they are they though?
What they want you to think.
I mean, are they? Oh, I will never say. I will say the only thing is Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, I was gonna
Eddie
ask,
is.
what did you all think of him?
I loved him as
I think
Gideon.
great. Yeah.
Who was
Eddie
that guy
Izzard is so
again?
funny.
Wait,
Eddie
who
Izzard.
is that guy?
He played,
Eddie Izzard.
remember Ocean's 11, 12, 13? He was also, apparently, he just done Grandpa Monster. Let me rephrase that. He just played Grandpa Monster in Brian Fuller's Mockingbird Lane, the canceled Monsters reboot show that they did, that Jerry O'Connell was going to be Frankenstein.
Really?
Herman Monster, or whatever. Herman
I have not
Monster.
heard one.
It literally ran for one episode because what happened was they literally shot a pilot, and no one liked the pilot. So then they didn't pick it up to series. And then, of course, no. What happened? That's wrong. They picked up the pilot. They shot 5 episodes, and then they canceled the rest of them because they're like, this is terrible. The network exec said, this is terrible. And then what happened was they literally aired the first episode to see if there was more demand for the show. And the first episode came out and nobody watched it. And then they decided, no, we made the right decision. And then they axed it. Bryan Singer directed the pilot.
Really?
Yeah, what happened is, Jerry O'Connell was going to be Herman Monster. Eddie Izzard was Grandpa Monster. I'll have to literally send you a picture of what it looked like. Eddie Izzard looked like Gary Oldman in Dracula. With the man buns.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
Eddie Izzard, he did play it off the character very well.
I actually seen the pilot years ago, and I have to find it. They still have it. It's really not bad. It's not funny though either. It's better than the Rob Zombie movie for sure.
It's a low
Like
bar,
anything
but,
is better than Rob Zombie movie for sure.
Well, let's wrap things up for this one. Jason, 1 to 10, what do you have?
Yeah. It's a 10. It's a great
Oh
episode.
wow, that's high. All right, Jason, what about you? Or Jacob, what about you?
It's a 10.
I know.
Okay, all right. Okay, it's a 10. It's a 10. Don't try to
That's
eat
why
for dinner.
That's why my channel's named Ryan Cam. My real name is Jacob, and I'm cursed to be surrounded by Jacobs my entire life. Jacob Martin, Jacob Collins.
There's also another.
It's like, fuck this. I'm naming my channel and my middle name is for my YouTube channel. Fuck this
It
shit.
should be called. It's like Glenn Glary, Gen Ross. It should be called Jacob, and
Always be closing. But Jacob, what about you?
All right. You know what? I'm gonna just for you, Jason. I'm gonna give it a 10.
Was
Is
that a
for
serious
real
grade?
rating?
No, I think it's like an 8. I'm just gonna say that for
I mean,
Jason.
am I wrong in giving it 10 or?
No, it's
you're-
your prerogative.
Yeah, if you like it that much, look. There are episodes for Smallville I give that are like an 8 or a 9. They're like, it's not an 8 or a 9.
I
But
hardly
yeah,
gave
mean,
any of those episodes a 10 for Smallville. We critique a lot on that show.
Yeah, Matt, what
it's
about
really
you?
hard to get an episode that.
Yeah, this is probably the better episode out of the 3. So yeah, I'm gonna give the same rating as for Jake. I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. It's a really good episode. Really enjoyed the plot twist by the end of the episode. Curious to see where this is gonna go after my speculation that I brought up earlier in the episode.
Probably.
I'm going to go 9. I really enjoyed this. This was my favorite of the 3. I like the past stuff. I like the twist at the end. This was very well done across the board. But I pass it off to all of you watching the edited version. What did you think of these episodes? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. Thank you all so much for watching. It's a privilege to do this show with these 3 guys. Jason, your channel's linked in the description. Do you have anything coming up?
No, I just did a live stream today with Nick and Briar talking about 51 other essential albums on our list. So check that live stream out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually doing a Genesis review series with Nick over at his channel, Townsend 505. So it's been rather interesting because I always knew it as the Phil Collins band, but Peter Gabriel did like the first few albums, and then he went solo. And then Phil Collins showed up and like said, "Hey, this is my band now." And then he went solo. But that's a whole other story for a whole other time. Jacob Collins, your channel's linked in the description. What do you have coming up?
Nothing.
Whole lot of.
I'm joking. I mean, I got Deadpool Wolverine's coming out. I just saw Twister, so I'm gonna have a review for that soon. Yeah, so I'm gonna make some changes to my how I review things. I'm probably gonna start shooting it differently because of the way like I used to do background stuff, but
Yeah.
then now because the background shit is happening, like now they want you to pay for the background. I'm like, I'm not paying for that. So I'm gonna rework how I edit videos now because I'm like, I kind of been wanting to change something, so I'm gonna start changing it. So probably with Twisters will be the first change. We'll see a different change in how I kind of want to, do it like more fun, make it more fun. So, who knows? I might dress like a cow and try to. No, Joe, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I'm gonna review Twisters. That's gonna be my next review, and then of course a small talk with these guys and talk in silence. And I think we're supposed to do a Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler review this next weekend.
Yeah, that's
Next
gonna be
Sunday.
a little.
It depends on like when are we gonna do it because I'm seeing it on opening day for Deadpool and Wolverine.
I'm not seeing it on opening day. Okay, I got shit to do. Okay, I can't. Wait a minute. You can't see it on opening day. That's a Friday.
No, on Thursday. I'm seeing it on the Thursday opening day.
How are you gonna do it Thursday when we do Smallville on Thursday?
No, I'm doing it's in the earlier show times in the afternoon.
Okay.
Because we do it in the evening.
Okay, you're smart.
No, I'm seeing it Saturday night, and so
Me too.
tentatively planning it for like a Sunday evening kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
I also Comic-Con weekend is also, so we'll have a lot to talk about.
Oh, dude, we should do like a separate show where when we do a spoiler discussion, we do that, and then we should definitely cover the Marvel coverage at San Diego Comic-Con.
Watch it be nothing exciting. It's just going to be like, hey, this happened.
Yeah, just watch some exciting announcement and nothing happens.
Yeah, well, they announced everything we already knew.
Turns into an impromptu hangout stream. But Matt, your link tree is in the description. Tell the people what you got coming.
Well, I've already recently put up the Wolverine review, and I already put up my Twisters review, so I'm still going to continue the World of Deadpool Wolverine. My next up will be X-Men Days of Future Past. So keep an eye open, and then I'm continuing to do small talk with these two guys.
Hello. G is me. Hello, G is me.
Hello, sir.
Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
Protect your neck. But as far as this channel goes, I want to say thank you to you all for getting this channel up to 500 subscribers. It is at 503. We did it.
Nice.
Hey, Matt, you got a fan. Matt, you got a fan.
What? Oh,
number 3 is a cutie.
Yeah. How do you know which one? How do you know which one's 3? It could be Jason.
You. I'm counting 1, 2, 3.
I mean, you don't know.
Can I finish? But thank you all so much for getting me to 500 subscribers. I started YouTube in December of 2015, and it has taken me this long to get this far. But I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of great friends along the way, and now I'm on the road to 1,000. So
nice.
The road begins again. But the road to Deadpool and Wolverine continues with my review for Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Logan. I'm going to be joined by Phil from Phil Talks Sports to review that one. And then Collins is going to be joining me to talk about Deadpool 2. So that's coming. And then Dark Phoenix, not looking forward to that. And then...
Oh, wow.
I'm talking to you, Dunder Mifflin. Oh, he's
talking to you. You know what? Thank you so much for that. That boosted my ego. I'm going to rub it in these guys' faces. Like, see, she would say...
The way you assume that this person was talking about me, it's so ironic.
I was just sitting there thinking, like,
I appreciate that Jake thinks I'm cute and all, but I appreciate the compliment.
No. On Talking Silence, Jason is the smart one, Matt is the good-looking one, Collins is the funny one, which de facto leaves me the muscle. But Talking Silence,
it's like George Costanza.
We'll go with that.
We'll leave it at that.
What the fuck?
But for Jason,
I got a lot of hair, buddy. I don't have a lot of hair. I am not a bald motherfucker.
But for Jason, so
I'm sure I'm the hairiest out of all 3 of these guys.
For Jason, the old millennial, for Jabe Collins, for Matt Wyatt, my name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for watching. You all have a good night.
Good night, G.